It was meant to be a light-hearted joke, the kind of offhand comment that floats into a spirited conversation without much thought. I'd had a bit too much wine, my mood lifted by the warmth of the evening, and the words left my lips before I could think twice. It came out as a gentle tease, a quiet chuckle tucked into my voice. I married Lucas because all the good ones were already taken. The room broke into laughter, everyone around the table assuming it was just another one of my playful jabs. That was my reputation after all. But when I turned to glance at Lucas, the laughter died in my throat. His expression was unreadable, void of any amusement. His eyes stared blankly ahead, not meeting mine. His fingers were wrapped tightly around the napkin in his lap, as if it was the only thing keeping him grounded. Without a word, he set the napkin on the table, stood up and walked away. No anger, no raised voice, no dramatic exit, just a quiet, calm retreat that somehow echoed louder than any outburst. Right then I knew I'd gone too far. I'd hurt the one person who had never wavered, never failed to be there for me. I tried to tell myself he'd come back. Lucas was steady, composed, the kind of man who let things settle before confronting them. So I stayed, plastering on a smile, shrugging off concerned glances from friends, pretending everything was fine while anxiety coiled tightly in my chest. When I got home later that night, expecting to find him asleep in bed, the silence that greeted me was unnerving. Half of his clothes were gone from the closet. His toothbrush was missing. And on the kitchen counter, glinting under the soft overhead light, sat his wedding ring. My breath hitched. My heart pounded. This wasn't like him. Lucas didn't just disappear. Panic welled up inside me, but I tried to reason through it. Maybe he just needed space. I texted him. "Lucas, where are you? Can we talk?" No reply. Called straight to voicemail. Another message. Another call. Silence. The pit in my stomach deepened. Morning came, and his side of the bed remained untouched. He was gone. Not just upset. Not cooling off. I hadn't meant it like that. It was a foolish remark. Careless and thoughtless, not malicious. But the truth was messier. Lucas was a good man. Gentle, reliable, everything a partner should be. And somewhere along the way, I'd used that stability against him. I'd convinced myself it wasn't enough. He was safe, maybe too safe. I'd let my thoughts spiral, whispering that I'd settled for something solid when what I really wanted was fire. I began to crave excitement, spontaneity, chaos dressed up as passion. Then came Daniel. Everything about him contrasted Lucas. Bold, magnetic, the kind of man who made every room bend toward him. His attention was thrilling, his charm intoxicating. He flirted shamelessly, and I let myself get swept up in it. Nothing physical ever happened between us, but emotionally I strayed far. I entertained fantasies of another life, a wilder one, all while the life I had quietly crumbled beneath me. Lucas either never noticed or chose not to confront me. Perhaps he loved me too deeply to call it out. Not until that night. Days turned into weeks. Still no word. No note, no message, no sign. Friends told me to give him time, that he'd come back once he'd sorted through his feelings. But a darker thought crept in. What if this wasn't temporary? What if I'd broken something beyond repair? I didn't want to admit it. Pride kept me quiet. But every night as I lay in our bed, my bed now, the emptiness beside me screamed the truth. He was really gone. And it was my fault. Then one afternoon I saw him. I had ducked into my favorite cafe, hoping to drown my regret in caffeine, when I saw him sitting near the window, Lucas, laughing, smiling. A lightness in his face I hadn't seen in years. He wasn't alone. Across from him sat a woman, graceful, glowing, effortlessly captivating. She wasn't flashy or loud. She just looked content. And so did he. Something inside me twisted. He looked at her the way he used to look at me, with quiet warmth, full of affection. And she looked back like she saw his worth, as if she treasured every second with him in a way I never had. I wanted to run to him, to remind him I was his wife, to beg him to come back. But I couldn't move. The truth anchored me to the floor. He wasn't mine anymore. I had driven him away. I had made him believe he wasn't enough. Regret doesn't scream. It whispers. It lingers. It seeps in slowly until it colors everything. I chased some illusion of better, blind to the fact that the best thing I ever had was already mine. Lucas didn't yell. He didn't seek revenge. He simply walked away. And that silence, that quiet, unwavering exit, was the most painful punishment of all. Now I live with the weight of that choice, of knowing I let go of a man who would have loved me for a lifetime if only I had let him. People say you don't realize what you've got until it's gone. But sometimes you do. You just think it'll never leave. And then, when it finally does, there's no undoing it.